alcohol has been serving its purpose. I am much, much happier. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is that you actually got a chance to watch this. I don't really care. I'm just happy that you're watching. Welcome to the second episode of my YouTube channel. My name is Muriel Nzimande, and I'm so glad, so glad that you took the time out of your very busy schedule to actually watch my show. Firstly, before we go any further, I just want to say thank you to every single person that's taken the time to subscribe to this channel, every single person that took the time to watch the first episode. Yeah, guys have no idea how happy and how encouraging all the feedback that you guys gave me was. The comments, I see you. And I really hope that we're going to continue with this relationship, and I'm going to try to be as consistent as I can. But before we get started, guys, I just want to apologize, right? My voice is going to break out, or it probably will break out once or twice. I don't know what's happening with my voice. I do have a husky voice naturally, but off late, it's just been a bit like it's been worse. I don't know. Sometimes I can't even hear myself talk, but I'm trying as much as I can to be as loud as I possibly can. So please bear with me. Also, please bear with the noise in the background, because you might hear cars hooting and stuff. Like I mentioned in the first episode, I am a city girl child, and I was not about to close the window because it's damn hot with all these lights in here. But yes, welcome to the second episode of my channel. To everyone that's watching us for the first time, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. If you're watching, even if it's for the second time, guys, if you haven't clicked on that subscribe button, I mean, what are we even doing? Why are we here? So as you guys can already see with the subject, today's topic is a topic that is something that I have just been thinking about a lot lately, which is understanding your love languages. This is a topic that is taboo for some reason. I don't understand honestly why it's taboo. I thought about this, I think it was a week or 2 weeks ago, shortly after I filmed my first episode, and I knew that this had to be something that I talked about or addressed as soon as I film again, which I thought or had anticipated would take about last week. However, last week, guys, last week I was in the pits of the pits. I had a week from hell. A life-changing thing happened. I got news that my entire life as I previously knew it was going to change, and there was really not much that I could do about it, so I had to keep moving. It's hard. It's very hard, especially for me, because like anyone that knows me knows that I'm a very happy person. I'm a person that always wants everyone who's around me to be happy. I'm a person that wants and always tries to make sure that I look at life as the glass being half full instead of half empty. But unfortunately, this is life, and we do not have full control over our lives. The situation that I'm currently facing is a situation that I genuinely have no control over, and we need to understand that, and I'm sure a lot of us do understand now as we've grown, that there are certain things in our lives that we have full control over, we can fix, we can change, and then there are things that are just beyond our control. We have not even a 0% chance at being able to change it. So the situation that I'm currently facing is something that I have a 0% chance of actually changing. So I just had to first wrap my head around it. After I had wrapped my head around it, pray about it, and then find a way to be able to live in this new life, which is now going to be my new norm. I'm not comfortable actually speaking about it as yet, because every time I try to speak about it, I cry. But I'm sure over time we will discuss this, and I'm hoping one day it's going to be one of those situations where we talk about it and we laugh, and it's like, ha ha ha, remember when I was depressed about this, and it doesn't matter anymore. But I must also give props to whoever invented alcohol. It definitely has been serving its utmost purpose in my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That tastes good. So let's jump right into it now. So, understanding your love language, as I've mentioned, I don't understand why, guys, people shy away from this topic. People don't want to talk about this. It's like politics and religion, when it actually shouldn't be, right? But I think it's mainly because what society has done and what society has made us to believe. Society has made us to believe that if you have figured out what it is you want, especially when it comes to romantic relationships or a romantic partner, it's now categorized as a bad thing because you're too picky, and you'll have people telling you, oh my gosh, you need to lower your standards, you're not going to get what you always want in life, and you need to be okay with that. That's true. There are certain things that you will find, Wuti, when you find someone, they're not going to tick all the boxes, they're not going to be this person that you idolized, or this person that you imagined you were going to marry, or this person that you imagined you were going to spend the rest of your life with. There are going to be those like 1, 2, 3 things, but it should not be things that are like detrimental. It should not be things that are like big things like personalities. Excuse me. You can not live with a person who does not match your personality. If you and this person's character traits don't synchronize, then child, you are wasting your time and that person's time. I'm not even gonna lie about that. I'm also going to give you guys a little story time about how I became Bob the Builder, and how that actually helped me to be able to understand my love language, and why now I've become so picky when it comes to the people that I date. I don't mind being single for 15 years or being single for 25 years if ngingakayitholi lento engicabanga or lento that I feel that I deserve. Then child, I might as well die with 15 cats. I really don't mind that. And I want all of us, I would love for the whole world to get to that point, but it's obviously not going to happen. But the purpose of this episode, honestly, is to get you guys to start thinking about these things, to get you guys to start having conversations about these things, to get you guys to being open-minded about these things. Like, it's conversations that people should have on their first dates. It's questions that you should ask your partner on the first dates type of thing, right? So let me just quickly try and break down what I mean by love languages, right? So with love languages, it is how you want to be loved, basically, right? How you want to be loved, how you want to be loved. Not how society portrays love, not how your friend and her boyfriend's relationship are, and that's what you want. No, how you want to be loved, how you understand what love is, what a person does that makes you feel like, yo, was the one time the moon, right? It's gonna differ for all of us. It's gonna be completely different for all of us. And I actually read a book. This is my favorite book, by the way. The book is titled In the Meantime. It's by Inyala. I'm not even gonna try pronounce her second name, because I've never succeeded at that. But it's the same lady that does the Inyala Fix My Life TV show. So there's that book, right? In the Meantime, if you get a chance, read it. That book basically is talking about in the meantime. So there's the time when you're a child, and most of your thoughts and your actions are controlled by your guardian or your parent. And then there's the time where you are now settled and you have your family, and most of your motives and your intentions are only to serve your family's greater good. The time in between that, so the time when you move from your adolescent stages to the time where you become some people don't want family, so I'm not going to say when you actually have your family or whatever, but when you become, or when you're at your peak, rather, I think I'll use that, when you're at your peak and you have more control of things that happen in your life because of the decisions that you made. In the meantime, the meantime is exactly that. The meantime is your 20s, your selfish 20s. We always hear people saying your 20s should be the most selfish years. Your 20s, you should do whatever makes you happy. But do we do it? Not with the social media that we have and the pressures that we put on ourselves that are so unnecessary. We don't even get to actually think about it. We do think about it when we're alone, but we don't live our lives the way that we want to, because we are so caught up in everything that is happening around us and everything that society is telling us is right, that we forget to look within ourselves, right? So I'm just going to tell you about a chapter in that book that I never forget. So this chapter speaks about how she was born. She was a product of an affair. So her mom had an affair with a married man and was pregnant with her. So she states that during her mom's pregnancy, there was of course a lot of confusion and a lot of commotion. And when she was born, there was still all of that. People would remind her of that or remind her mom. And she also stated that her mom never really had a stable relationship. She would always go for the toxic people, the people that were going to make her feel, they would always bring drama to her life and all of those things. I'm a bit, let me just have a sip. So she'd always go for people that would bring some type of drama to her life. And she says subconsciously, without her even realizing it, when she got older, those were the type of men that she would look for. She would look for a man that is either in another type of situationship, but a man that was going to bring some sort of confusion to her without her even realizing it happened. When I read that chapter, I actually sat down and I thought, because this happened right after my Bob the Builder phase. I read that chapter and I thought to myself, oh, this actually makes sense, because to be very honest, as much as most of us don't like admitting this, my background has a lot to do with the type of person that I am today. My parents' personalities, I've picked up traits from both of them, and I have my own personality traits. But when it comes to my love language, because when I was growing up, the only form of love that I was exposed to or knew was seeing, luckily for me, I had both my parents in the same household, was seeing them. So I would see how they love each other and how they show each other love. My mom is she's a giver. My mom is a giver. My mom is I got you your favorite pair of jeans on a random Tuesday type of person, just to show you that I love you. I don't have to wait for you to have a birthday. She doesn't have to wait for you to graduate or for you to do something that rewards you, but it would just be her way of showing, yo man, I thought about you even though I wasn't around you, and I got you this. My dad as well. My dad is he's a bit of a romantic. It's crazy, because till this day he will still come back home, even with a little PS, just for his wife. I would notice how they communicate with each other. They call each other, like when one is on their lunch break, they communicate with each other. When one gets to work, they call each other, oh my god, I'm at work now, how's your day going, those type of things. And to be very honest, I picked that up, and that has now become a huge part of my love languages. I am undoubtedly a giver. When I love someone, I love the person with everything that I have. I'm the type of person that would rather go to bed hungry, but knowing that the person that I love is secure and they're full would make me full. This doesn't only just stop when it comes to romantic relationships, friendships, family, everything. And of course, unfortunately, people have taken advantage of that. However, I can't change that about me. That is something that I am. That's the love that I give. So honestly, that's the type of love that I want back. In all honesty, I want a constant communicator. I want a constant communicator. I want a random gifter. I want a person that's going to be on some, oh, I heard you speaking about this album 2 weeks ago. Look what I got you. Tickets to view to the concert. Look what I got you. That album. My love language is not expensive. I'm the easiest person to please, because even you getting me a 2 rand lollipop because you once saw me eating it will mean so much to me, if that makes sense, right? And I always knew, because I would always date guys that had the same understanding of love and the same expression of love, rather. And then there came a time, I was in my early 20s, and I met a guy who was completely different from anything that I'd ever been with. This guy came from a broken home. This guy had financial issues, so there was not much that he could do when it comes to showing his love or expressing his love for me. So when I met this guy, I remember I met him. We started dating. Things were okay, but I always knew, you know, like, you know, when you date someone and you know in the back of your head, you're just thinking, is this even gonna work out? Like, I genuinely needed him to be more reassuring that I usually need a person to be, because at the back of my head, I knew that ngathi le imoto engiyigibelile ayiyi la ngiyakhona, ngathi ngigibeli but I went through that experience, and I feel like that experience taught me a lot. So let me just quickly give you a rundown of the whole relationship. When I met the guy, he already had a kid. The guy had expressed to me that he had financial difficulties and financial problems. I like things, guys. I am a lover of things. That's why I work harder than most people that are my age, because I never wanna suffer, basically. Like, I'm the type of girl that wants to be able to go to a shop and make figure store, whether it's the 10th or the 5th or the 29th or the 19th. If I see a chocolate and I want a chocolate, I don't want to have to think about it. That's me. And that's why I work so hard, and that's the life I think my parents also gave me, you know. So I'm pushing, and I've been pushing for myself to be able to give myself that life as well. So this guy, you know, of course things are going to be a bit difficult now because he's dating me. I have this whole thing with myself where I spoil myself and all of those things, and he won't be able to do that. So when we got into the relationship, I thought I was making a compromise because I don't talk to people. I think that's one thing I need to change, and I hope this channel is going to help me, because you guys are going to interact with me and actually give me advice as well, because I have a very, very hard time with expressing any type of feeling that is not a happy feeling. Expressing any type of thing that makes me feel like I'm weak, expressing anything that makes me seem unsure of things, you know. I just always want to seem to have things, I always want to figure things out on my own, and that's how I feel I've really accomplished something, when I figure it out on my own. But I've realized now that I've grown, sometimes you need to have a third person's opinion, someone that's not looking in from either side, and someone that probably doesn't even know. Like, it helps if that person doesn't know you, because they're going to give you the most honest opinion ever, before I get distracted. But so I knew, like, you know, I told my mom about the guy, because we had dated, I think we dated for almost 2 years. So my mom finally got to know about the guy. She never met him. She knew about the guy, and my mom would always say, Zam, you know, you know, I'm not so sure about him, you know. And I'm like, no, I know he's different, but I mean, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna help him. Overcome his financial issues, and we're gonna be fine. And that's what I was telling myself as well in my head. I have a very bad habit as well of being the fixer. I attract broken people, even abangan. They come to me because I think in like I said, I just always want people to be happy. So I'm like a happy pill for people. So broken people always are attracted to me. They come to me and they just take everything from my energy to whatever that I have to offer for that particular person and that particular situation, and usually never leave me with anything. So this guy that I was dating had a kid. He had a kid, like a 2-year-old son, when we started dating. Within our relationship, he had another kid. And I'm sure you're thinking, how is that even, why were you still there, bitch? But the kid was conceived before our relationship, so I thought it was okay at the time, and I decided to stay. Bad decision. So this person that's already struggling to take care of his one kid is about to have another baby, and he's with me. And so I started taking over a role where I became more than just a girlfriend. I became his advisor. I became his helper, because I would help him. I tried to help him pay a few of his bills. You know, I tried to help him restore the relationship with him and his firstborn son. He's the woman that he had a kid with during our relationship. Apparently they had never broken up, but this is something that I found out towards the later stage of our relationship. So I had compromised a lot, because I compromised just uba ingane, you know, and I stepped into this role of being a stepmom. I stepped into this role of being I don't even know, like I stepped into a role of being his mom himself, because I also got very involved with his family, because his family was a broken family. I tried to mend the pieces for his broken family. It was a lot for me, you know, and the guy just kept taking. And I think the one thing that I fear, or the one thing that I always tell girls and guys, is if you're lucky enough to date a person that is a giver, don't just keep taking, because there's gonna come a time where that person will get tired of giving, and you can't. And if you have nothing as well to put on the table, it gets exhausting. It exhausts the whole relationship. And I always say this to girls, I'm like, if your boyfriend is out there and he's doing the most for you, don't just take. Now we do things, you know. I'm not saying go over and above your limits, but do things. It's the small things that actually count when it comes to a relationship. So I compromised a lot when it came to my love languages. This guy sucked at communication, and he'd always come back to me and tell me, what you know, Mina, this is the love that I know. I don't know this love of yours, this fairy tale love of yours. You know, of ukuthi abantu behlezi bekhuluma nani, but I'm willing to learn. And it was those words that would just keep me going and keep me going. And it made me waste about 2 years of my life. I don't look at it as wasting, because I look at it as a lesson now. So eventually, when all the worms started coming out of the cans, I decided, okay, this was not for me. I realized, okay, this was not for me. I prayed about it as well, and I let go. It was a very hard thing for me to let go, because I had invested so much into this relationship. When I say invested, I'm not referring to material things, but I mean emotional and spiritual things as well, because I got to a point where I would pray for this guy. I got to a point where I would include this guy in my life plans. I even had him in my funeral cover. Please don't judge me. I even had him on my funeral cover. I had his kid on my funeral cover, because I'm a serial monogamous, guys. Kumina ngangisengibona ukuthi lo muntu is going to be in my life forever, so I might as well start preparing for the rest of our lives. And I take that trait from my father. My father is a very rational and a sensible man, and everything for him is as straight as a ruler. It's black and white. There is no in-betweens. If this is what you want, you need to do this way, so that later on, 5 years from now, you don't have a problem, you know. So it was a lot of things that transpired, and I don't even want to talk about it a lot, because I don't even want to give this person the time to shine on my channel. But a lot of things transpired, and that whole relationship changed my outlook on life, because I gained a few things from him. I got to know a life that I didn't know before. I got to know a love that I didn't think I would ever be able to experience. I was able to love a person that didn't belong to me, which was his son, like my own, you know. And then now, after that relationship, I became very picky. I became super picky with the people that I let into my life, especially when it comes to romantic partners. I don't just let anyone into my life anymore. So now, before we even go as far as 10 dates or whatever, we will have a conversation about on the first dates. I'll ask you these things. What's your definition of love? how do you want to receive love? Do you think me asking you to tell me what you're doing for the day is annoying and it's me being controlling? Because that's the type of person I am. Not because I'm trying to control you, but I just want to know what you're getting up to. I want you to communicate with me. I want you to go to the as far as you can go to make me happy. If you know something is going to make me happy, if you know something is going to make me upset, I'm hoping that I find someone that is going to avoid doing it without me having to ask them to not do it, you know? And when I speak now to people, now that I've been single, like, you know, when I was single for a while, when I speak to people about this is me, I'm picky when it comes to the people that I date. I can go on 7 dates with you and still not want to be in a relationship with you after the 7 dates, because the more time I spend with you, the more I get to know you, and the more I realize, you know, it's a very sad but true thing. And I even said this to a girl yesterday that I was having a conversation with. We should always try to date people that have the same backgrounds as we do. If they don't have the same backgrounds as we do, they should at least aspire to have something like you had, or something better than what you had. I also remember I read a Facebook quote that said, my grandma once told me never to bring home a person that is going to give me less than what my parents gave me. And I didn't understand it, but now I do. Now I genuinely do. We should always whatever you want and whatever you feel you need in order for you to be satisfied or tandwin is right, and no one should tell you otherwise. You can compromise a few things. You can compromise a few things like the cologne he wears. You can compromise a few things like he doesn't really like going to the club and you like going to the club. You can compromise a few things like those type of things, like the little things you can compromise, but you can't compromise a whole personality, because you're not going to be able to change a person. And if you ever go into a relationship thinking you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time and you're wasting that person's time. You can't change umuntu. A person would only change or become a better version or become the version that you want them to become if nabo kuwukuthi kusuka kubona ngaphakathi. But if you think ngizomsiza lo muntu abone izinto ngale ndlela ngifuna mina engiyibona ngazo and we're going to be happy, girl, quit playing with yourself. Guy, quit playing with yourself. So I felt like this was a very important topic for us to have, and it's very ironic that now I'm doing this video and Valentine's Day just passed, and we all saw that, you know, I didn't realize, honestly, I had no idea how big of a deal Valentine's was until this year, because people just want what comes with the day. They want the gifts, they want, you know, but they don't want the people that bring the gifts. They'll tolerate the people just because I want the gift on Valentine's, which is, for me, it's sad, it's pathetic. I mean, flowers. You can buy yourself flowers, you know? And so I feel like if we start normalizing having these conversations when we go out on dates, having these conversations with our friends, it's going to open up our eyes a bit more. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being single, guys. There's nothing wrong with waiting and finding what you're looking for, or what you're hoping to find, or what you're looking for in a guy. But asikho isidingo sokuthi uzo-compromise ukuthi uzothandana nomuntu who's completely different from you just for the sake of ngifuna ukujola and I can't be single, all my friends have boyfriends. Oh my god, you know, like I hate and I love social media. I have the strongest love-hate relationship with social media, because the things that happen there and the pressure that we have put on ourselves and the pressure that we put on each other is so unnecessary. But it is also sometimes an eye-opener. It depends on the type of content that you do follow. But yes, guys, so that's it for today's episode. Generally I hope I never go more than 30 minutes, unless it's a vlog, and I might have a vlog coming up for you guys pretty soon. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's episode. I hope I spoke to somebody that needed to hear this today. I hope you're gonna be able to make the right decisions going forward. I hope this is gonna become a lifestyle where we have these conversations with people just to make each other's lives easier. Yes, and most importantly, before I leave you guys, I just need all of you guys to kindly click that subscribe button. I'll wait. Have you subscribed? Have you? Okay, thank you. All right, so please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Turn on the notifications button as well so that you can see every time I actually post a video. It's your girl Muriel Nzimande. It has been an absolute pleasure. I'll be seeing you guys sooner than you think. Way sooner. I know someone in the comment section asked me to do videos every week. I can't promise an every week type of thing because I have a very demanding job. My hours are very off, so I can't promise an every week thing, but I'm definitely going to promise a twice a month thing, so that's every fortnight. And yeah, so thank you so much for staying with me until the end of this episode. I really hope you guys picked up some things that you needed to hear. I always believe that whenever you speak, especially if you're speaking to a crowd, there's always going to be that one or two people that actually needed to hear or see this more than anyone else. So if you're one of that person or that person, you're welcome.